Here's the thing about investing in general, because you and I have been concentrating on Web3, NFTs, and crypto, right? But there was some statement I remember that basically said teaching is nice, but you get more out of it because when you teach somebody else, you actually are forced to relearn all the stuff, right? And then you also know that being in something kind of like blinds you as to what's going on in your own situation. But when you see somebody else going through the same situation, it's like clear to you because you're not in it like them, right? And so what's cool about you going through this whole thing is that you are going through it from a first timer's eyes. And so like I see that looking at you, but like then when you're in it, it's you don't think of that. So what I mean is like we've been talking about investing, and yesterday you and I had a meeting with Anthony, and I was like, now's the time, right? Because I notice sometimes like bigger picture things going on, but it's not to like a moment like that. Then I realize like now really is the time because it got me thinking let's go back to Web3 now and investing in general. When you and I started this whole thing with Anthony back in September, first of all, he had grown his NFT portfolio to like multiple millions of dollars. And if you remember, before I knew anything, my first inclination was sell it all right now, right? Okay. So that, however, actually was correct, but I would have looked like an idiot for 3 months when everybody would have been like, "You are an idiot. Everything's going up forever." But then 5 months after that statement, it was actually the high of the market, almost, right? And so if you go back to what was happening, we were starting a fund. Everybody and their mother wanted to be involved. Our Zoom calls had more than 9 tiles on it. We had so many people on our Zoom calls. I had to scroll to page 2 to see everybody. We constantly had new collaboration meetings coming up like 3 times a day to the point it was like, yo, I don't want to be on any more meetings. You handle this meeting, we'll handle this, right? It was like constant, and the excitement was so sky high. Now, yesterday, we were committed to having a partners call for our fund once every week. Now, for the past 3 weeks, how many people have been on the call? 3. Last week, we actually didn't even have a call because you and I were on the call and no one else got on, and then we got off. Do you see just the difference right there? Nothing else. Forget about anything you're involved in. If you just look at that to that, and I was on the call, I was like, now is the time. Now, guess what? I may look like an idiot for the next 3 months because Bitcoin may go from 20 to 10. And guess what happens when Bitcoin goes from 20K to 10K? The 3 people that are on the call now might literally go to 0. But what I'm saying is, and who knows, because I could be wrong too, but I don't know the time frame either. Could be 6 months, could be 2 years. But when you look back and Bitcoin's 100K, you're going to look back to the time when Bitcoin was at 10K and what the F was going on then. Well, that's the time when there was no Zoom calls. There was no excitement. It was the exact opposite. Nobody cared anymore, right? And the reason that triggered me in my mind is because Anthony was like, the volume on OpenSea is down 99%. I sent him that. But like, that's the time. It doesn't mean you buy it all now and it goes straight up. But like, that's the time where you're like accumulating everything. And could you be wrong? Of course, you could still be wrong. All this stuff could still go to 0. But if you're going on the cycles based on sentiment, emotion, and like human psychology, now's the time.
Got it. So it's okay. So let's just say you have 10,000. You're not deploying it all. Are you doing it in tranches, or is that the best way to?
That's how I do it. Now, maybe a month ago, I said I was putting a certain amount of money into Solana, right? And I did put a decent chunk amount of money into Solana. And I bought some at 60, and then I bought more at 40. So my average price was 50. Now it's at 30. In that month, though, something did change my mind to where I think it may be better skewed towards Ethereum, not Solana. So I did sell half of that. I didn't sell all of it.
See, but you didn't tell me that. So I'm still in the Solana.
So I would sell half. I sold my half right here at like 30.
I was actually going to move everything to Ethereum.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that either. But the merge is coming up, which is going to be a volatile event. So basically, the Ethereum merge could be a significant thing that moves people away from caring about Solana if it works. The opposite could happen. If there's a big disaster with Ethereum and it completely shits the bed, you might see Ethereum go to 200 and then things like Solana could be in the forefront. Also, Mason, who we had on last episode, sent us a new level 1 called Aptos, which is like, to me, looks like a newer Solana. And Solana has gone down 4 times with outages. But there are positive things too. Helium might move its whole entire blockchain over to the Solana blockchain. But the whole thing is, the point of me liking it so much is not there anymore. So going back to the investment theses of the downs and ups, now's the time, but you also don't have to let things go to zero. So now I've moved half of that Solana investment back out into stablecoin to be ready for what's going to happen post-merge in Ethereum, which is happening in like less than 10 days.
So you think I think it's at 30 now. I think I bought at 50. I should sell
I
half
sold half.
and put it into USDC.
Yes, so that you have dry powder left for after the merge. Like if things are whipping around, then you at least have some money to deploy it smartly.
Okay.
Like put it this way, if Solana spikes down to $7, I'm going to load up on it. You know what I mean? But I have to have some free money. Like if there's some kind of freak out event and the merge goes horribly and Bitcoin spikes down to 8,000, I'm going to load up. But I need some money available to be able to do that because it might only last a second. But
are you selling any Bitcoin or no?
No, I mean, the Bitcoin that I've had is the Bitcoin that I have now is the Bitcoin that I'm going to hold no matter what. So sometimes I get bigger, but I'm down to the level where I'm just holding that one for the longer term.
That all makes sense. So you're taking your background and experience in trading. You're seeing the same trends because it is trading, right?
My background and experience in trading is different than investing, right? Investing is a much longer time horizon. And so it doesn't even get pulled out of me sometimes until I'm having the conversation with you or with Anthony because I'm in it.
So I'm sparking that thing for you that's like, all right, this is because I'm so with what's happening, right? Like I'm a perfect example of what everyone's doing.
Just the activity of having the conversation is helping me to, because I'm almost teaching, and I'm teaching you, but I'm talking about it to you. And that's what I mean. Like when you teach it to somebody, it forces you and the realization comes, which is cool.
And what I was saying with the lending had nothing to do with, I think everything that you're talking about, it was really just going, hey, should we be hedging? You know, is it a smart decision right now? There's new tools that give us an opportunity to do different things. I just want to throw them out there, not saying we should be utilizing them, but they're there. Right? Can we make some smart moves that would make us better lenders when we have people's money?
Everything you were saying was spot on. The thing about liking these levels is, and it would go against our plan, which is why I was also saying it's just kind of my opinion, but like you get defaulted on a Moonbird at 10, you hold it for 6 months and you end up selling it at 25, you're going to make way more than doing 50 loans on it for 30 days. Right? But that's not our plan right now. So it's kind of like, that's what some of that stuff in there.
I guess if we were more liquid, we could do a lot more of those things, right? You could say we're going to allocate a certain amount and we're going to hold for 6 months.
Right.
We're going to deploy less, but our long-term goal is this, so we should make more. That is a plan.
Yeah.
But without having the capital to do those things, what happens? Do we just sit and wait?
No, but here's the other thing. Which is the only ones I like right now are the people that I know are real. Kevin Rose, Gary V, real people doing real things. G Money, like we know these people are doing stuff, right? Like Kevin Rose just raised $50 million. He's already alluded to the next project he's dropping in 2023, which you're going to be rewarded if you have Moonbirds that are nested. So like knowing things are coming and these people are not just sitting on their hands. Gary V's trying to be like the next Walt Disney. And he's trying to brand all these characters and this whole story into whatever he's creating. Like these are longer term things with people who've done things before, which is why I always say you're investing in a company and you're investing in the person in the team, not just the picture that you're buying. So I like all the projects that have, vetted teams that have proven themselves before. I've said that before in podcasts, and everything else. Who the hell knows? There was a good podcast yesterday with Kevin Rose and the founder of DGods. DGods is a popular Solana one. And then that kid was, basically explaining what his vision was and what he was doing. that project got down to 5 ETH from wherever it was. It was going to die. And then they came in hard and drove that up to the number one Solana project. And now they're like, got huge momentum. So now I would pay attention to something like that, right? Now he's not proven like a Gary Vee or like a Kevin Rose, and he's 23 years old, but at least I see there's a plan there and things are working. It's not just a dead project, right?
Got it. Yeah, understand.
What other things are in your mind?
The things on my mind are just finding our little spot in this world right now. After our conversation with Anthony yesterday, was seeing that there's another opportunity, right? Where you guys are coming from a trading background. Okay? That's your world. You're actually in a position to teach other traders to come into this world because you've been doing it a little bit longer, right? I'm seeing everybody's skill set and I know how this works where if you're good at something, right, that's your audience. So I didn't know if there was an opportunity there for you and Anthony to almost be recruiting traders, right? Like if you're trading here, you could bridge a gap for them into this world. It's like I'm just trying to find little opportunities that they just click. Like it makes sense. Like listening to my brother Anthony speak to the Bazooka Boys. Oh, you could do consulting right now. You can curate. You guys can help people curate an NFT collection right now, right? You think it's a good time to buy, like because these are the things we've done. So anything you've already done, you can help someone else.
Things that I would love to accomplish right now that I think have huge potential are pulling off our own mint based on a hard world asset like a whiskey cask. I still think
that's a great idea.
I still think it's a great experiment to go through just to have one under our belt. And I think it could work. Number two, creating marketing for funds like we're doing right now, and then seeing if that leads to raising money, I think is actually huge because the beginning of Reg A and stuff is right now. There's going to be people looking for shit. Mark is looking for a company like for this. So I just know that that's going to happen. You guys have listened to a couple of our clips so far. What are you looking to learn about? What do you want to hear more of? What do you want to hear us talk about? We're happy to go there. I listened to the Joe Rogan, Mark Zuckerberg podcast this morning in my drive into work. And Zuckerberg was talking about things like, we've been in spatial meetings now, but he's talking about holograms to the point where like you're sitting there in a room with somebody, but then the hologram of you would actually be in the room with that person.
That excites me way more.
Yeah.
Hologram technology is amazing.
He was also saying
I feel like that will grow.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, go ahead. I didn't know that he was even interested in that space.
Mark Zuckerberg? They renamed Facebook to Meta.
I thought he was all in the metaverse. Not holograms to me is something different.
No, I think it all goes in line with what he thinks his metaverse should be, which is more interactive and relating to people. But he also said that TVs, he doesn't think like a TV is going to exist anymore. It's just going to be a hologram, that like an app that will come up.
So I'm looking at it, that the reason I'm looking at it different is like a hologram to me needs a base, right? So you're buying hologram bases because that's what'll spark the lights, right? That's what will create the images.
I don't know.
It's coming from somewhere. Like if I had this thing sitting on my desk, right? And the image would appear from here.
Yeah, I have no clue.
I would love to invest in those kinds of companies.
By Facebook.
That are working on that. Well, no, hologram technology companies.
I mean, look, Facebook was at 300. Now it's at 160. They renamed their name to Metaverse. He's spending $10 billion this year on Metaverse investments. He's basically, reframing the whole mission of the company. So if you want to buy those companies, I would buy Meta and hold it for 10 years. If you feel that way, I know you're buying Amazon every month. You can cut that in half and start buying Meta with that. Half and half.
Split it.
Yep. The only thing I do love Amazon still longer term. The only thing I don't like is when we started buying it, Bezos was the CEO and he left. I don't like that. Like, so that's something that would change my mind a little bit, right? Like the dude's a winner. Elon Musk is a winner. I like when the winners are there. One day Elon's going to leave Tesla and then Tesla's just going to turn into a normal company. So Amazon may just be a normal company now.
But that didn't happen with Apple, right? When Steve Jobs left.
Yeah, no, it didn't. It kept going up. But the last decade, everything basically went up. All of them. Amazon, Facebook, Apple, Google, Netflix, all of them have been going up for 10 years. So that might be over, but who knows?